Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Skol Side Minnesota Vikings podcast following day 2 of the NFL draft. And as you guys see by the title, this video is just going to be dedicated. We're going to be going over all of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's moves and me explaining why I think he is absolutely dominating his first ever NFL draft. And day 2, it was so funny because when they traded with the Packers, I was just sitting there and I was just like, there's no way. This feels like Rick Spielman all over again. But Kwesi Adofo-Mensah made up for it. He had great picks. He got great value. I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about all 3 of the guys the Vikings drafted and why I think Kwesi is absolutely dominating this year's NFL draft. Let me know what you guys think down below. And, of course, please subscribe to the channel. Best way to help me out. Share this video with your other Vikings friends. And comment down below what you think of Kwesi's first NFL draft so far. Let's get into it. All right, so starting off with the trades. The trades yesterday, obviously the Vikings were selecting at 34th overall, and they received the 53rd and the 59th overall selections from the Green Bay Packers. Now, I love this trade. I would love this trade if this was with any other team besides the Packers. I would have given this a trade an A++++ if this was from any other team, but since it was from the Packers, I would give it an A-, mainly because of the fact that it was just something back in my head. I know Kwesi has had a great draft, and I'll explain why later. However, you did give the Lions and the Packers their wide receiver ones for the future, so that's something I was a little concerned about. But anyways, we received the 53rd and 59th pick, so that meant at the time we had the 53rd, 59th, and 66th overall selections, and I was obviously a little worried because I wanted them to go get Andrew Booth or go get Dylan Parham from Memphis, and they ended up, Kwesi saw the chance at number 42 overall, traded up with the Indianapolis Colts, and he only gave up the 53rd, 77th, and 190th overall pick for the 42nd and the 122nd. So at 42nd overall, Kwesi, he decided to draft Andrew Booth Jr. Andrew Booth Jr., if you guys don't know, he's the cornerback from Clemson, and he actually was 27th on. I looked at a bunch of big boards, and I kind of took the averages of all the big boards, and he was 27th, or he's 27.4, but he was a 27th ranked prospect on a lot of big boards. If you guys didn't see his highlights, he's a very physical DB, gets up in your face, and the thing with him, I think he will need a game or maybe a month or 2 in the season where I could see him struggling early on in September and October. But then once it comes to November, once it comes to December and it's winning football, I think Andrew Booth will take a huge step forward. He's a grinder. He plays with swagger. He has a chip on his shoulder. It was an absolute great pick by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. And then so we were also choosing at 59th overall, and this was when I wanted them to go interior. I mean, I was watching it and I was just saying, all right, we got to go interior offensive line. Got to go interior offensive line. I wanted Dylan Parham from Memphis University. He decided to go Ed Ingram, and he proved me wrong because I looked more into Ed Ingram, and I absolutely love him. And I understand there is the off-the-field issues, and I won't be addressing that. I don't think on this channel I never really addressed off-the-field issues unless it's going to impact the on-the-field. It's an off-the-field issue. You guys can look more into it on your own. I'm not talking about it. It won't impact him on the field. He's gotten over it. Ed Ingram, he's 6'3", 317 pounds, the guard from from LSU, and he's one of those guys where he checks every physical box, every physical attribute you need him to kind of like whatever your measurements are for a offensive lineman. He checks all of them. The only problem is when you do turn on his tape, and a lot of other analysis do agree, he is not too explosive off the ball, and he is a fairly athletic guy, but it's not like he's like Tyrone Smith left tackle athletic, or he's like a 6'3" guy running a 4.4. I mean, he is fairly athletic, but it's not like he's got GMO, type of game-breaking speed for a lineman, but he is very, very solid. And the thing when watching his clips, when he gets his hands on you, you are done. He's a lot like Christian Darrisaw in that aspect, where if he does engage with you, you're done. And I thought this was a great pickup. Ed Ingram, guard from LSU. And now here is my favorite pick of the evening. Brian Asomoah, the 6-foot linebacker, 226 pounds. Think about that, how crazy that is, that I'm just saying that in this day and age, like linebackers are pretty much box safeties, and that's what I had with him. He wore number 24 at Oklahoma, and when I threw on and I was just watching his couple of his games this morning, you can really tell that he is so much more athletic than, and I think it's just me kind of having this like nerd moment and watching how athletic linebackers are becoming in the NFL. And I remember when the Bears drafted Roquan Smith, I said, damn, the Bears just drafted a safety that plays linebacker. And I kind of laughed at it. But now I see how Roquan flies sideline to sideline and he hits hard. That's who I think Brian Asomoah will be. He's 6 foot, 226 pounds. He's not the biggest dude, but this dude hits. He's explosive. And you combine him with Lewis Sine, combine him with Andrew Booth Jr. The Vikings got so many they just got so much more athletic. You know, if you looked at their secondary and you looked at their linebacking core, I love Kendricks and I love Jordan Hicks, that pickup, and Troy Dye. They're all very fine linebackers. But it's not like we had these GMO linebackers. And when I say GMO, it stands for genetically modified organism. Just saying they're just built different than everybody. Brian Asomoah is a GMO in terms of his speed and his just explosiveness and his just hard-hitting ability. And he's a really good dude. You go look on any interview. I mean, I know that doesn't go that far on the field, but to me it does. I think a locker room guy, Asamoah, he's a great guy. Same with Andrew Booth Jr. He's another one of those just classy guys, plays with a chip on his shoulder. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, he's absolutely dominating this NFL draft. Let me know what you guys think down below. Skol Vikes.